A Sunday without Bengals football, and with the bye week, Skinny, a great chance to rest and recover for the team, for the fans too, really, with this season not going exactly how we'd expected. It's a long road ahead if the Bengals want to get into the playoffs. What do you see are the keys for them rattling off some wins here down the stretch?
Well, I mean, a lot's going to come down to the cornerback play. You know, Cam Taylor-Britt's going to get put back into the lineup after he was benched in the last game because of the injury to DJ Turner. Josh Newton's going to be the other starting outside corner. He's a rookie. He played well in the Charger game, but man, that's a big ask for a rookie. The interesting part is, and they are going to be favored in the Pittsburgh game. I looked at it this morning. They're a 2-point favorite. They'll be favored in the next 5 games. Doesn't mean you're going to win all 5. Favorites don't always win, as we know. They win sometimes and don't cover, but they don't always win. But you have a legitimate shot to put yourself very much back in the playoff conversation. We'll see if they can do it.
Now, I think before this past week, that Pittsburgh game was viewed as a tremendous challenge. Then we see what happens against the Browns in that crazy snow bowl in the second half. Looking at that now, it seems a lot more winnable, right?
No question. And I always thought it was. To the credit of Mike Tomlin, he always finds a way to squeeze the most out of his teams, right? I mean, this whole quarterback situation with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson has been a roller coaster, even to the point of Justin Fields coming into games recently at weird times where you're like, why are you taking Russell Wilson off the field? But it's worked. That being said, despite the fact that they went and did some things in the offseason, despite the fact that they've kind of upgraded things on their offense a little bit, it's still an offensively challenged team. Najee Harris runs it okay. Jalen Warren runs it okay. There is George Pickens, who we know torched the Bengals last year in Pittsburgh. But still, it's just not a consistent offense, and I think that's what this defense needs to face, is nothing that's really dynamic.
And you just brought up that offense, not consistent. The defense, though, for Pittsburgh
Lights
all
out.
year long. How do the Bengals attack that Steeler defense? And if we are able to see the first complete game where the defense shuts down the offense and they're able to put up points, are all hopes back in Cincinnati that there's a playoff run coming?
Absolutely. I mean, this game means everything because of record, because of who you're playing, because of the way they play, because of the way you play. You know, you lose, you're at 4-8, and that's almost mathematically impossible at that point because you'd have to go to Pittsburgh at the end of the year and win a game there. That'll be tough to do. But you win this game, and you got Dallas. I know they won today, but they're still Dallas. They're a train wreck. And Tennessee they won today, but they're a mess. And then Cleveland, even though it got flexed out, they're a mess. I mean, you have legit hope, especially to your point. If you do enough, you're not going to score 30 on this defense, in my opinion. But if you do enough and play complementary football to what you're talking about, I think that gives you the hope that, hey, play complementary football over the next handful of weeks. Get to that Denver game, sitting there, with still where you're at right now. We're having won 4 straight games. That maybe is a tiebreaker game. You got a good chance to make it.
And now for the next month, really, we're looking at the Bengals schedule. We're looking at everyone else's. They need a lot of help.
Yep.
They need Denver to lose. They need the Colts to lose. And now we're looking at the Dolphins, too. Need Miami to lose as well.
Back.
How does this all shape up with the playoff scenarios and the wild card spots? How do you see all of this going?
I do think it comes down to that game again. If all things being equal, the Bengals win, and we expect the Colts to probably lose a handful of games. They lost today and looked really ugly doing so against Detroit. I don't think they're a factor. Miami's the interesting one. They're the sneaky one to me at the moment because they got a lot of talent, as we know. They're finally back healthy again. But I do think that they find a way to win these next 4 games and get to that Denver game, with that being the tiebreaker game. Whoever wins that gets in. That's goofy.
It's going to be a fun, interesting, crazy next month and a half as we wrap up the season. Again, Bengals off tonight, but next Sunday, Pittsburgh coming into town.
Huge.
Big one. What's the prediction for you for that game?
I'll go 23-20. I think they do get enough points. 23 is a lot on that defense, but maybe you get a turnover or 2 from Russell Wilson and you find a way to get the win, and Evan McPherson gets back on the right track too, because he needs that as well.
All right, it's going to be a good one. That'll do it for sports. We'll be right back.